We back. 118, 118 of the Be Still podcast, proudly presented by Moon Golf.
That's it. Welcome back to the show. If you're a long time listener or first time listener, my name is Casey and this is Zach. And we are here to put on a show for you to kind of talk about golf. And so tonight's episode, whenever you listen to it, we're going to talk about the Solheim Cup, which is this weekend. We've got Andi Meadows joining us, who is the assistant superintendent at TPC San Antonio, which, if you don't know, is home of the Valero Texas Open, which is a PGA Tour event. So that's a pretty big deal. We have our segment called Four, where we're going to tell you what's coming up. And then, as always, we close out with the drop zone. So, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into it. Zach and I are going to start talking about Solheim Cup. And then, and when she jumps on, we'll kind of go with her. Awesome. Well, everybody, we kind of already introduced her, but this is Andi. She's assistant superintendent at TPC San Antonio, from Mississippi, correct? Okay, from Mississippi in the game of golf. And I'm going to kind of, in a minute, ask questions about how you got to where you are now. But I kind of want to, I guess we'll start with that. So, how did you get into the golf world and then choose the career that you're in now?
I got into golf as a result of Hurricane Katrina, actually. In 2005, Katrina had came through and devastated everything. There wasn't a lot of jobs left at that time that really paid a real paycheck. Everything was like contract work and people were getting ripped off. There were people coming in and saying, "Oh, we'll pay you, for a day's work or a week's worth." And you do the work and then they just leave town and they go to the next town. So I kept getting ripped off and I didn't have a place to live. So I was living in a FEMA trailer, had no power, no water, no sewage. So my mom had a friend that worked at a golf course and he was willing to take me to work every day. And he brought me out there and it was a real paycheck. So that's how I got started. I stayed with it though. I haven't ventured off and done any other type of work. I did raise my three kids, and so I'd be working like never for a career. It was just like a job a lot since
Mm-hmm.
2005. But I really wanted to take it seriously. Probably in like 2011, I was in Augusta, Georgia, and just knew that it was. I mean, I had done it for so long and I loved it so much. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make this a thing. But I needed to get my education first, and so in 2018, I started at Penn State. So
Um, so now you are at San Antonio, which is a mixture of PGA Tour event slash a kind of pretty famous name, TPC, with all the TPC courses around. A little bit of history for those listening. Two courses correct at your course. There is the Canyon course, which Pete Dye designed, and then Greg Norman designed the Oaks course with, I don't even know what this meant, but it said player consultant Sergio. I guess Sergio kind of helped him. Hey, this is from a player's
correct, yeah,
perspective. Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. And so the Oaks course, we're going to talk about it for a minute. It hosted the 2024 Valero Texas Open, and this is the 15th year that's hosted it. So I think a lot of people want to know, like, what's it like preparing a course for a PGA Tour
Ooh,
event?
great question. We're pretty much preparing right now for the event next April. From an agronomy standpoint, that means we'll overseed in October because all of our grass will be cool season grass. And so now we're having to switch the products that we typically use to specialty products that won't affect the seed germination come October. At that point, we'll all go out as a team. We'll have different teams tackling tees, greens, approaches, the little like corner areas, the surrounds. We'll all do that by hand, walking it. And then we'll come through with machines to fill in like the areas that we didn't get. That'll happen in October. From then we do a 2 week grow in where we're running water 24 hours a day. And then first cuts come, which is my favorite part. We'll do first
Mm-hmm.
cuts and then we'll basically just keep that grass kind of, like we'll keep it growing in, but come like January, February, we really start to push it. with our iron and our nitrogen and stuff, and we're really trying to get it thick and growing in real nice and healthy because it's more of a inner seed rather than overseed. So there'll be two types of grasses when the players get there. They're actually playing on Bermuda and on Poa trivialis, which a lot of people may not
Oh wow.
understand. So yeah.
That's how much does it differ from a normal week for you at the course when you know the Valero's coming? Do y'all ramp it up? Is it like, okay, TV time, let's make it, or does it stay that pristine all year round?
I would like to say that we're always fighting with Mother Nature, and because it's a different grass in the summer than it is the winter, it does call for different cultural practices. But as far as the
Mm-hmm.
daily maintenance, we try to hold that bar pretty high. That way, when tournament comes, we're dialed in. Like that, nobody's nervous. Everybody's just ready to show off at that point. All the skills and stuff. And then when the TVs come in and social media and different, like everybody wants to get video and come in, like we've had YouTube people, and then you have like PGA Tour themselves, and then all of us kind of doing our thing. So it doesn't really, we definitely ramp it up. Our hours are really
Mm-hmm.
long. We don't have hours like that normally. So we're working like 16-hour days. So as far as that, then we have
Oh wow.
volunteers come in. So it's kind of socializing with them, trying to provide like a fun environment because they're volunteering their time away from their golf courses. And so we want to make it fun for them as well. So, I mean, it's like regular day only on steroids.
How many people do you think are working it when it's time for the Open, as opposed to like in an off season?
It's the same amount of people. We just get a lot more volunteers. I think
Okay,
How
so
many
people
do
just come in
y'all
from.
have?
so. Our typical staff is between 40 to, we want 50, but
Okay.
it fluctuates. 25 for each course.
Mm-hmm.
We get an additional 25 volunteers the week of the tournament. We'll get everybody acclimated to where they're going to be, when they want to be there. We'll get them practicing. So Monday, Tuesday, all of that, the pro-ams, all of that, everybody's practicing. And then when it comes, everybody should be dialed in and know what's going on.
What what you specifically like when you're getting the course ready for this? What is it you look for? Like, are you a stickler on tee boxes or like around the green or bunkers or rake placement? Like, what is it you specifically looking for that you're like, it's got to be this way?
So my responsibility is to make sure I look for everything. So I'm looking for
Mm-hmm.
everything. It's not just one thing. It's every single little detail. It is rake placement. It is bunker depths. It is heights. Heights are really important. Moisture, greens moisture. We don't want them too wet. Um, it's quality of cut on those fairways. I'm always looking for quality of cut. Um, Bumps in the bunkers, like everything has to be perfectly smooth. That we have, so it'll be the crew goes through, then one assistant will go through, the second assistant will come through. We're all checking for everything. Behind us, we'll have our superintendent. Behind them is the rules official. So when the rules official comes through, they make sure everything's perfect. Pin placement, the little bitty grasses like around the hole, like you name it,
Mm-hmm.
it's being overlooked by many people.
It's
Do you
overlooked at our local courses for sure around the pin.
do you listen to stuff like that? Do you listen to the broadcast to hear what people say about the course, or you kind of just not pay attention to that and locked in, or are you curious what
I
people are
love
saying,
I
like on
love
TV and
feedback,
whatnot?
but unfortunately, when we're in it, it's so busy and so crazy. The only times that I have for break, I'm so tempted to just get on social media and just find out what everybody's saying, but I have to be disciplined
Oh, yeah.
and try to rest during that time. I make myself a little cubby inside my office to where I put a blanket over the desk, and then in there I have like a mat and a pillow, and I go in there, and like people can probably see my feet hanging out, but if I'm in there, just I'm trying to sleep.
How much how much does player feedback dictate what y'all do to the course and around? Because like we saw it the U.S. Open at Pinehurst, we saw a lot of complaints, and then overnight they watered everything, and the next day it was a different course. And they say it was part of the plan, but it was also weird because there's a whole lot of complaints about the greens being super fast and all this. So, do y'all take in player feedback, or y'all like, no, we've got a game plan for the week. If you don't like it, this is what we're gonna do.
I would say we don't base our agronomic decisions on player feedback. We base it on science. So
Mm-hmm.
we are TPC, but when tournament comes around, PGA Tour agronomists come in, and we do what they ask for. They have like a meeting with all the other officials and everyone, and so we have a goal that we're trying to reach as far as green speeds, moisture numbers, and firmness. And depending on what
Mm-hmm.
weather we get or where we're at with where the golf course is at, that's how we base our decisions off of what the tour wants. And I'm guessing that's the officials.
Okay, so even if big names complaining, you're just like, it's okay. I'm sticking to my plan.
Yes. I take I've listened to the tour agronomists and try to do what they
Yeah.
prefer. Hmm.
How much does the weather in San Antonio affect it as far as like any of the courses you worked to before you made it to San Antonio? Because I know Texas is usually a drier, hotter area than some of the other areas around the
Hmm.
country.
I don't find it too different from other areas in the southeast. Um, Quite honestly, we have had record drought within the past 3 years, and I've never had to deal with that. So it is a lot drier, um, which makes for a whole nother challenge. And we have water restrictions, um, which it just makes it we're struggling. We're struggling. So that's
Mm-hmm.
probably one of the biggest problems we face, not just during, not just leading up to tournament, but like all year round. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many, off the top of your head, do you think, how many rounds per year are played at TPC San Antonio?
I knew you were going to ask this question. And it's probably more than you would think. I think, well, we have the two courses, and I didn't want to tell, it's like 40,000 each course.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think Canyons has 45 and Oaks has about 40.
Do you have, between the two, do you have a favorite that you prefer out of those two?
So it really depends on which golf course I'm spending more time at. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I've really grown to love Canyons in the past couple years. That's kind of become my baby. I spend more time over there. And
Yeah.
it's just the views, it's the layout, it's the natural the way the course fits into the natural surroundings. It's really eye catching, and the peat dye bunkers, with those flat bottoms, and there's really nice roundness to them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Is it, so that many rounds being played a year, is it harder to maintain a course that gets as much golf on it than if you were just at another course? Like, do you prefer that, like having a course that's viewed and played so much?
Well, before I was at TPC San Antonio, I was at the UT Golf Club in Austin, and that was a private course. We hardly saw members. It was like always ours to perfect and to make nice,
Mm-hmm.
um, which was good for what we do. Um, but I have to say that I love the upbeat tournaments that we get. We're about to host the collegiate event, and it's just the hype around it. It's like adrenaline rushing, and when you have high expectations, and you're it's that pace that I like. So I would definitely say I
Yeah.
like to be on a course that's more um, that gets more golf.
Do you feel like your work is more appreciated on a course like that instead of like a private where you just see a handful of members? Or because like if we go to TPC San Antonio, it's totally much nicer than anything we play around here. So we're just like in awe the whole time we're playing it, as opposed to guys at a private club. Oh, this is what I pay my membership for. This is what I expect every
Hmm.
time.
Hmm. Well, it has its ups and downs, you know. So um, even though it gets a lot of people, and we do get a lot of good feedback, but you know, the more people, the more like negative and positive, you know. So
Hmm.
um, but I still think that the negative stuff is good. I don't really see it as negative. I see it as ways that we can get better. There's always ways that we can get better, and I appreciate people's, um, you know, opinions on what their money is going to. It helps me help them.
Yeah. What is there a moment that stands out to you where in a tournament or getting ready for a tournament where something may have happened that was like high pressure and you had to fix it real quick or anything
Hmm.
like that? Any secrets from the superintendent?
Well, okay, I can give an example. I feel like it happens every tournament. There's something. Um,
Hmm.
we're pretty much prepared for that because believe it or not, I mean, people are putting stuff in bunkers every day, you know, fall like dropping a greens mower into the pond. Or 2 years ago we had an older gentleman driving at night who's night blind, and he had a turbine blower behind him, and he didn't see the what is it, they had these things set up on like a tower, and he didn't see the wires,
Hmm.
and he ran through the wires and drug that entire thing across the green and put yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, the best thing we have really good people on staff, very well experienced veterans, and we would just send them in to go fix it, and before you know it, you're looking at it on TV and you didn't know that ever happened.
You have any horror stories of greens? Like we had a course around here. The guy mixed the wrong stuff, killed all the greens, had to redo them. Anything like that, or animals coming out there and just destroying the
Yeah,
place?
so we haven't had any well, we've had some chemical mishaps, but nothing that we couldn't um, repair pretty quick. The hogs here in Texas, we have a terrible feral hog problem, and they a couple years ago during winter they went to our driving range and they just tore the entire thing up. So ever since then, we've been on a
Oh
hog
wow.
mission. This year, we killed 44.
Hmm.
Usually mom and children, mom and babies. We set out traps. We have trail cams. Everybody's, you know, like ready to go. Um, it's
I
Texas.
was about to say, I bet the local hunters probably love
Yeah,
that.
they would, but we love it even more. So you'd have, you know, they'd have to get to it first. And we set out traps. We've made our own hog hooch. So we've tried to get them
Hmm.
drunk, so we could kill them easier. And we've done it all. We've done it all.
That's
You
like a
just got a
dream. Everybody
marshal
around
sitting on
here.
the first tee box with a rifle. He's like, hold on now, you can tee up. There's one. Let me get him real quick. Okay, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead. We got him.
yeah.
Uh, That'd be the way to do it. I should have asked this a long time ago because I'm curious. How long did it take you to learn? Like when you got into this, and I know you studied it too, but how long did it take you to learn all this and maintain a golf course and like all of that? But I guess because you started your career, you said before school, correct? When you
Hmm.
for the job. So how long did it take you to pick up on all this before it's like, okay, now I know how to run a golf course?
I would say I'm just now kind of getting in. I'm just now kind of getting there. So it's taken
Hmm.
18 years because there's so much to it. You know, you have the machines, and you have water, you have fertilizer, you have math, you have like people, like managing people.
Hmm.
Um,
That's probably the
yeah,
hardest part.
and the type of people that we get aren't the pick of the litter. Let's just say most times, but we work with what we got, and I enjoy, investing my time into people and helping them. But yeah, I'm still learning, and there's still so much to learn. Um, but yeah, I started my career. I didn't have the education, so I really was able to hone in my skills and learn how to do all the hand tools and mow straight lines and kind of get the operator aspect. Because we have a lot of different types of equipment that we operate. It's not just like a lawnmower you cut your grass with. These are very technical and expensive pieces of equipment that do all kind of specialized things. So, and they just keep coming out with new stuff too. So it's like
Hmm.
you never know it all. And that's one of the things that I really love about this industry is that it just there's so much to it.
Are there currently a lot of women in the industry kind of doing the role that you have, or how's that been?
So, last survey that was done, according to the Golf Course Superintendent Association of America, women superintendents only represent 2% of the entire
Oh wow.
population of golf course superintendents. So we're really underrepresented. But I feel like the GCSAA and a lot of different sponsors like Rainbird, Toro, Syngenta are really,
Hmm.
really putting in an effort to get us women together. They sent us all to Pebble Beach last year. Everything was completely paid for, and when the women come together, we create, like, we have a women in turf team. And so anytime we come
Hmm.
across another woman, we're putting them in that chat, and we're giving them opportunities. We're telling them about different tournaments. We're talking about scholarships, because that we it's like an area where we can get a ton of information out to women to try to keep them encouraged, because it's easy to get discouraged, in a male dominated industry where everyone kind of looks the same, and the
Yeah.
opportunities
Hmm.
aren't always handed out fairly, let's just say.
We need a PGA Tour YouTube documentary on you since you represent. I mean, you're part of the 2%. I feel like you have such a cool story to tell of
Just a
how you.
trailblazer.
Yeah, and you're at such a like pristine course. I feel like it'd be such a cool story. So were you a golf fan before that you got the job and everything?
No. Mm-mm.
Are you a
I
golf fan
am.
now? Or are you
Yeah,
just a
yeah. I have
okay?
to
Okay.
be. I mean, my favorite golfer is Victor Hovland, and then I got to
Okay.
see him this year in January. It was the first time I ever got to say hi to him, and I was like standing there holding a rake, and I felt like the biggest dork. But he said hi back to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool."
So do you enjoy watching, or do you ever get to go out there and play at any?
Um, Yeah, I can play it anytime I want. In my cart, I keep a putter and a 7-iron in my cart. So like anytime I want to, I can test out the greens for speed, and
Uh
I could
huh.
just sit out there with 8 balls and just, hit some balls, and
Yeah.
it's for
Sounds like a
yeah,
dream.
it's really nice. And we get free
Um,
golf, and we're always encouraged to go out there. It's just summer's really hot.
I'm about to change my career and come work for
It's a
TPC
sweet
San
deal.
Antonio. Do you think working on a golf course does it make you appreciate other courses more? Or do you kind of are you a little judgmental when you go to another course and you're like, oh, I wouldn't do it like that, or I would do this, or
So I enjoy seeing how other courses run. I know that there
Mhm.
are ways that we can improve in efficiency. And so that's one of the great benefits of going to work these other tournaments, is to kind of see, like, um, how they run the show. But I will say that whenever I go to all the other local golf courses here in San Antonio, it makes me really grateful for where I'm at, because a lot of golf courses are struggling right now. But I feel
Mhm.
like I'll see little things that I know. It doesn't matter if you don't have amount of water, or if you killed your greens last summer. You could still pick up trash. Like, that's one thing that'll make your
Yeah.
golf course look so much better, is if you just pick up the trash. So I guess I am judgmental to some extent, but every golf course is different and has its own, like, spirit, I guess, to it, and I appreciate every one of them that I go to.
when you play on your course, we had another superintendent for one of the private clubs around here on. He said when he plays his own course, the whole time he's like, I need to fix this, I need to fix that. He doesn't enjoy actually playing his course anymore because he's so fine on the details.
Yeah, so I think that we're trained to be that way. A big part of what we do is to find the things that need work on. And someone
Mm-hmm.
had told me, I had been given some advice, and they said, look, when you go play your course, don't look at any of that. Last time I went out and I didn't look at any of that, I had the best time, and it made me know my golf course better by playing it than I get from just maintaining it.
Yeah. Um, I've got two more questions for you. First one, favorite TPC golf course out there? And you can't say San Antonio.
I have to say Memphis, TPC Southwind in Memphis.
Wow. Have you have you been able to get to a lot of them? Like go by and see
I
them all, or?
haven't yet, but part of our tournament support operations, we are sent to a different TPC once a year to go hang out and meet everybody, and do a little bit of work, take green speeds
Mm-hmm.
and read firmness. So I would have to say Memphis, only because I'm from Mississippi, and so I got there, and everyone spoke my language, and it was, I could see all the pine trees and all the water features everywhere, and it really felt like home. So, I know there's a TPC Louisiana too, but I haven't got to make it down there yet. Next February, I'm going to TPC Sawgrass. So,
Oh, that'd
as
be
part
fun.
of my Alan Macarack Award Scholarship, and I know that one will probably be my number one after that.
See,
Is there one you're really looking forward to get to go to outside of like what's already planned, like Scottsdale or?
I'm sure that I will get sent to Scottsdale at some point. I'm not thoroughly looking forward to it, but I welcome it. 100%.
uh-huh.
I would like to go, and this isn't a TPC course, but I was really hoping to go to the Black Desert Resort in Utah this October for their
Mhm.
PGA event, because that golf course looks so amazing. It being on the lava fields and all that. So I really, really want to
Yeah.
do that, and I would love, love, love to go back to Hawaii, um, which those aren't TPC courses.
I played in Hawaii and it was
Which course? Which
life
course did you
changing.
play? Okay, I've
Kaanapali
heard about it.
off of, on Maui.
Yeah,
I was a terrible golfer, but I enjoyed the views.
absolutely. Yes.
See, we're so used to like the pine trees and stuff too. And then next week we're actually going to San Hollow in
Hmm.
Utah. So it'll be our first time going out west where there's no pine trees, just red mountains and dirt everywhere. And so we'll get to experience courses like that.
I
So we're
bet.
excited.
I bet that's going
Um,
to be so different
yeah.
from what you're used to. I know you're going to be in awe.
Oh, for
You're just
sure.
going to be in awe.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to
Um,
set some PRs for driving distance with the elevation.
yeah. With all the interchange. All right, my last question I have for you is, and it could be any course, but favorite from just being a fan of golf courses and being a superintendent, favorite course that you have just from that perspective of the design, the look, the vibe that's there. Favorite course, if you could go to it, be there forever, I guess, what would you pick?
Mm,
Not even to work it, just be there and
Just to
play it.
hang
And
out.
okay.
yeah.
So I would say Pebble Beach for the design.
Hmm.
That number, what is it, number 8? A par 3? Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Downhill.
Downhill. Insane. But it's too cold and cloudy there for me, y'all. I could never survive. I couldn't survive.
I refuse to try to book a tea time or like plan a trip there because every video I see is
The
30
weather.
mile an
Yep.
hour winds, rain, dark. I'm not interested. I'm not a fan of Pebble Beach. I like looking at it when the pros come, but when they're using a 3 wood off the tee on a par 3, that's too
Crazy.
far above my
Yeah,
skill
yeah.
level.
Um, I'm gonna have to go with Kapalua. Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
Maui. Yeah, that's if I probably
Is that where you're going to retire to? Just go out to Hawaii and
100%. That's my plan. I've been talking about it since day one, and I got to see it this year, and it just I know it's really close. That's my ultimate goal, and
Mhm.
going out there really almost made it too real because then it became scary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it, Hawaii.
Yeah,
Hmm.
awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Andy, and everybody. I look for because the Valero will be there again
Yep.
next year, correct? They signed a deal, so everybody next year watching Valero Texas Open, you can say, look at Andy's handiwork out on the course and
Yes.
check it out.
First week in April.
But we appreciate. Yes, okay. First week, April. Yeah, it precedes the
Yes,
Masters,
the week
correct?
before the Masters.
Which is a very coveted time slot on the PGA Tour
Hmm.
schedule, and y'all have it.
Hmm.
So everybody go check out Andy. You can just and if you're ever in Texas, go play the course. Go to the resort and get you a tea time and hang out. But we're thankful you came
Rake your
on.
bunker.
Yeah, rake your bunker. Put your rakes back
That's
where you
right.
got them. Yeah. But thanks, Andy, for
Thank
coming
you for
on.
having me. This was cool.
All right, everybody. That was Andy. Super cool to get a perspective from somebody that sets up for a PGA Tour event.
It's
That's
always
wild.
nice to see the agronomy side of it as opposed to just playing it. Like
Yeah.
you always go and you're like, oh, this course is great. Hated the fairways, hated this, hated that, loved this, loved that.
Mhm.
And then to see it from the perspective of someone who's there 16 hours when it's game time.
Yeah. And her story getting into it was cool. I thought maybe she just grew up, loved outside and all that, but it was just kind of like needed a job, turned into a passion, and now it's a career, um, which is super cool. All right, so you can check her out. She's on Instagram. Just look her up, and I'm sure she posts about that kind of stuff. So we are now going to fall back into what we were talking about real quick. If you don't know, this is basically the Ryder Cup for the men, but the Solheim Cup is for the women. This is U.S. versus Europe. Last year ended in a 14-14 tie, and Europe retained the trophy because they had it the year previously.
I
This
hate anything having the possibility to end in a tie.
That's true. That should be fixed real quick. I can't stand that. Um, they're going to be up in Virginia at Robert Trent Jones Golf Club. This is actually the course that hosted the first four playings of the President's Cup. I was listening to No Lane Up podcast today, and cool thing is they referenced some of the holes up there, which of course is Robert Trent Jones course. They're talking about how the same it is to Grand National in Opelika, Alabama, and they mentioned it.
I've
Uh,
been there.
yeah, been there, and so they talked about it for just a little bit on the podcast. Um, so this is the best U.S. golfers, whatever, and the Europeans. America currently leads at 10-7. So let's get into it. Uh, Foursome matches, and then on Sunday they will all be playing their own ball. A lot of top names. Who do you think takes it? America is the favorite on DraftKings right now.
Nellie's home.
She's home. Is that the statement?
That's the statement. Nellie's home is hers to take. She's been the hottest female golfer this year, so it's only
Except in
right to
some
finish it
big
up.
tourneys. In some big tournaments,
Yeah,
she's
everybody has. I mean, Scotty won a lot, but he got arrested. So,
that's true.
I mean, she's unarrestable right now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go U.S. A lot of people are leaning towards Europe, even though U.S. is the favorites. It depends on the matches. I'm actually excited to watch it. I love these kind of stuff more than just regular events for the men and the women. Um, and side note, Zach will be happy about this. When doing my research today, LPGA has updated their website and it's a lot better.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And
I haven't, I
supposedly
refused to go look at it for the longest because it was awful.
they have updated it and it's a lot better. And supposedly the app is as well, which I have not looked at. But the LPGA Now app is updated to match the website and whatnot. So I'm actually going to check the app out in a second.
I'm looking at the U.S. team right now, and it is very strong
It's very
off
stacked.
name alone from who's won this year. With us doing pick'ems,
Oh
you got
yeah,
Nelly, Lily Avu, Rose Zhang, um, Lexi Thompson. Lexi Thompson. I thought Brooke Henderson was American. Is she Canadian?
I think. But we also thought this about the Olympics. We thought U.S. is very loaded in the
She
Olympics,
is Canadian. What a guess.
and we said
Brooke
that
Henderson's Canadian.
we
Yeah.
said U.S. is going to go gold medal. I mean, gold, silver, bronze, and it did not turn out that way.
No.
So that's the only thing I'm worried about. Um, if you're listening and you're not quite sure how it happens, each match, if you win it, you get 1 point. If you tie, it's a half a point, and the first team to get to 14 and a half points wins the whole thing. Which,
The
like
whole
Zach said,
shebang.
yeah, there's a possibility of it being 14-14 and a tie. If that happens, Europe will retain the trophy, which
That's
needs to be
so
fixed.
dumb.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to.
So dumb.
I mean, it's
You
there's
should
just got to
put
be an
your
extra
top
match or something.
seeds and do a sudden death 3 holes.
Yeah, something's got to get fixed with it. Same with the Ryder Cup as well is the same way. Um, but the reason we get so excited about this and the Ryder Cup is because they're every 2 years, so it's not something that happens frequently. The only reason it happened last year and now this year is that they decided with 2024 to turn it into even number years, so they had to get it back to back. But it won't be played again until 2026. So make sure you watch it this weekend and cheer for US. It's gonna be good. We're both going with
USA.
USA to win
I'll
it.
always pull for my country. I don't care what's going on. I'm a
Even if the
USA
odds
fan.
are
When the
against them,
Olympics come, I'm USA curling, hockey, speed skating. It's in my blood.
just US all the way.
USA.
So here's what's coming up for the boys coming up for us. We have a video coming out in a few weeks with Logan Kane. Gonna kind of
Sandbagger.
yep.
Huge sandbagger.
That's part of the story. If you'll see it, is a tale of two nines, the front nine
Right.
and the back nine. But that's going to come out after Utah. We're kind of focusing on that trip right now. In Utah next week, there'll be tons of content. So make sure you're following us on Instagram at b.stillgolf, and we'll have stories just loaded with content. It'll almost feel like you're in Utah with us if you watch our Instagram stories. And then after that,
We'll have a new series coming out.
yes, new series.
We're just gonna leave it at a new series coming out. We'll start filming in October, maybe
Mhm.
1st of November, and those will roll out in January.
Yep. And then when we get back from Utah, there'll be an announcement from the boys about just BSG in general as we look forward to year number 4, right? Or do
4,
we
yeah. Mm-hmm.
4? Yeah, year 4 for us, and finally hit 1,000 subs, and so we're changing some stuff up, gonna push different kinds of content and see what happens. But a lot of exciting stuff happening from BSG, uh, and so that brings us to the end of the show where we do the drop zone. This is the question we ask. We want to know your answers. And I'm going to ask it now. Where is the most unusual or memorable place you've ever played around a golf? It could be either or. Something you always think of.
Um, I think my most memorable right now is I played around. Well, we went to Florida, family vacation, and I played. Shoot, I had to look it up. Some of my 18 birdies, but I played in Florida, and I played one of the best rounds, and I think it's because the guy with me was almost scratch.
How's that forced you to play better?
Yeah, I played at Sandestin at Baytown.
Uh huh.
I shot at 86, and I did lose a ball all day. It was just one of them rounds where I'm thinking, I was like, I could have been in the 70s if I hit a putt or two.
Yeah.
And it's one of those like, I was on, and you remember the days when your game is on.
Yeah, that's true. This wouldn't count as unusual, but most fun round recently was us in Panama City before the J video. That was such a fun.
Yeah,
Just no, I mean, there wasn't no video camera. It was just me, Zach, and Mitch out there just having a good time. We didn't think we were going to get to play, and then we did get to play, and then,
Mitch's shoes were full of water.
yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And then most memorable round. I think about this round a lot just because it was just fun. Was our first trip to Texas, the day that it stormed real bad, and we went and played we had the course ourselves, and we did like split up into teams.
Teams of 2.
And that was just a fun round because it was like everybody was vibing. We were
Come down to
hanging out in the
18.
clubhouse before everybody's eating, And it was like, all right, let's go tee off because we got the course to ourselves.
That's where we found Swanee's.
Yep, that's true. And it was just a fun round because it wasn't a rush. Everybody was chilling in the clubhouse, hanging out, and then we played the 2v2v2, 2v2, whatever. I think about that round a lot. So those are our answers. Let us know yours. And we want to end it with just saying, hey, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. And we'll see you. No podcast next week because we'll be in Utah, or are we doing it before
We got a
Utah?
guest next week.
Okay, so we'll get one more episode.
Yeah, we got a guest next Monday or Tuesday. I got to confirm, but we do have a episode next week.
Well, hopefully, wait, let me see. Because if it's Tuesday, it may not get posted until because we'll be waking up early. No, it can't be Tuesday because we're coming to your house at like 6 o'clock on Tuesday, 7 o'clock to eat dinner, and then
I got Monday.
Okay.
Monday at 6.
Okay, so you'll get one more episode before we head to Utah. And then the boys are there. We're gonna be vibing. We're gonna take some time off. There won't be a lot of stuff posted on our actual socials, just our Instagram stories. But make sure you follow along. So we'll see y'all next
Big
time.
things in the works.
We're doing big things, boys. We're excited about the upcoming year. We're going to finish this year strong and kick into it next year. We'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace.